Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're gonna be dropping a manga haul. I know it's been about a month since we did a manga haul. I hadn't really been ordering much manga lately. I've been slowly picking up the volume here and there, right? Through Amazon, through eBay. So those are like one volume, two. It's not enough to drop a video on, right? So over the course of the month, I picked up 8. So I was like, yeah, they're starting to pile up. Let me drop a video on them, and then bam, guess what happens? It's like a tsunami, right? All of a sudden, snowball effect going on. It's about to drop a video on them, and my Right Stuff order arrived. This had been held back for a minute because I think there was a few books here that were out of stock, so they never shipped it, and I guess they're back in stock. So they shipped everything together. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do a manga haul with these books I picked up this month, plus what I picked up last month from Right Stuff. So I believe it's about 12, 14 books. I haven't even counted them. It's somewhere in that ballpark. Plus these 8, so it's gonna be a little over 20 probably. So yeah, guys. Hopefully we'll get back to doing a haul every 2 weeks or whatever. I like to do an order about every 2 weeks, I would say. And back to doing manga reviews, right? And let's start off with the books I picked up during the course of the month through Amazon, eBay, and so forth. I think I got these through in-stock trades because I also ordered a few Conan omnibuses. So yeah, let's go ahead and show them off. This is Ghost Reaper Girl Volume 1. The mangaka here is Akisa Saiki. Not familiar with him, or her. But I love the cover there. I like the name, Ghost Reaper Girl. Now look, it's this girl holding this big ass Sith. Now this guy back here, he is the Sith. He turns into the Sith, and then she kind of gets power once she holds that Sith, right? Which she didn't know she had. She's like, hey, once I grab him, I become like this ninja and shit, right? That I know how to fight really good and whatnot with the weapon. So turns out she's a movie star, but she's like a B-list movie star, right? She's like an extra in movie, small role. She's not a big timer, but she's trying to break into the business and so forth. And he's a big fan, so he's like all excited to meet her. He geeks out like, oh shit, like I'm your biggest fan. And he turns out he also has a crush on her, right? She's like, I'm surprised you heard of me because I'm not really that famous. So then through things that happen, turns out he turns into a Sith, and she catches him, and shit happens, right? And you're like, wow, they're fighting monsters together, and they're fighting ghosts. So this reminds me a little bit, you know what it reminds me of? I read Volume 1, it reminds me of Soul Eater. Because Soul Eater, the Sith, is a kid that turns into a weapon, and then a girl catches him, and she wields a weapon, so they make a team. Except that team's always fighting. This team is not always fighting. This guy, he's in love with her, he has a crush on her, so he can't wait to be as helpful as possible, right? So he's wanting to help her in any way he can. So they get along really good, except once in a while he makes little pervy comments to her, and she gets pissed off at him, like, shut up already, right? Because he's kind of a perv because he's all in love with her. But he's a likable character, and it comes off humorous. It doesn't come off like weird or nasty in any way. It comes off funny. It's not meant to be taken too seriously. So yeah, I really like this one. It's Ghostbusters, the story of Ghostbusters with the characters of Soul Eater, right? Because ghosts have come all over New York, you know, like in the Ghostbusters movies. Kind of something like that here. And they gotta catch them all, you know what I'm saying? So I got Volume 1. And I picked up Volume 2. I have not read Volume 2 yet. This is another character that I won't spoil. He comes out towards the end of this as a villain. But things happen where turns out he was not really a villain. He was kind of possessed and so forth, right? So he has his couple right there. And she has hers right there. So, you know, they could go out on double dates and stuff, right? This book I hauled, where did I order this from? I think this was also an in-stock trades order. They had this under damage section. Yeah, now that I remember, this was under damage section for like $4. So this was crazy deal. It's in great condition. It's like new. I don't see any damage on it. I ordered some other books that look more damaged than this does, because this doesn't look damaged at all. And other ones that were the actual regular price actually have like little minor imperfections. This has nothing. So this one, the mangaka here is Yu Matsuyuki. It's called The Fiancé Chosen by the Ring. Digging the art right there, look. Man, the colors really pop right there. That's our main character. And look at this. Woo! Man, they just make a power couple right there. They look really good together. Make some sweet music, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the art on this is fire. It's really good. This is like, because towards the end of this, there's some fighting and stuff like that. So, you know, when you got action and so forth, like a shonen comic, you gotta have good artists, right, to move the action along. It's like a summer blockbuster, right? You gotta have good special effects during the big action scenes, or else it doesn't have the same impact, right, if it looks wonky and so forth. So here the art is really good. And it's basically a guy that wants to marry this girl, and the trope is kind of like they're fake dating, right? she's doing him a favor. He's like, hey, can you help me out? Pretend you're married to me and whatnot. Turns out he's a prince, but he's not the crown prince. He's not the main one. But the big plot twist here is they end up having, they're not regular humans, right? I don't want to spoil it for you, but if you want to find out more about this, I dropped a review already. I have it edited, so that video should be up before this one. It'll be up right here in the corner. And basically, or will it be this corner? Whatever, you know, it'll be up there. Just click on it, and it'll show you the full review of the first half. Is spoiler-free. Second half, I get into details of what the little twist is, right? Why are they not regular humans, and what's really going on? So yeah, this one was pretty good. I liked it, and it got better towards the end. It was good with the characters story-wise. Not a lot happened, but things made sense later, right? Like sometimes it was kind of slow. They're just chatting and so forth. But the conversations, they have a point to them as the book goes on and so forth. And you're like, oh, that's what they were saying here, or this and that. But the writer here, he doesn't hold your hand. He doesn't tell you all this, explaining what's going to happen later. It's just little things you got to be paying attention to yourself, and then the conversations make sense later. So it's not just empty dialogue, right? Like it's there for a purpose and so forth. So that one was pretty good. I already ordered. Actually, it should be in this haul. Volume 2 should be here on the right stuff order they just got here. So yeah, let's get to the next book. I picked up on Amazon, Romantic Killer. Got here the same day. Woo! Talk about a quick delivery, right? Check out the art right here. The book is all in color. All of it. And there's a Netflix anime that just came out. I just watched the first 2 episodes, and it covers the first volume. The art is exactly the same as in here. So I was really digging the art on it, and it's... Check it out. Do yourself a favor. Check out the Netflix show, and it's pretty funny, and so is this. It's really humorous. I was really enjoying it. If you geek out on manga, comics, sports, whatever, this is actually not really about sports. It's more manga and video games and stuff like that. But you'll really get something out of it. Which, if you're following this channel and you're watching this video, you probably collect manga, right? Or you watch anime. And so this girl, she geeks out over video games and manga and stuff like that. And then one day, all that's taken from her. So she's like, what am I going to do with my free time now? And this magical creature's trying to get her to go out and start dating. And then that's when things get kind of funny and so forth. We get introduced to this other character back here. He's kind of like the love interest. And he's kind of more mellow and stuff. And he's not into like manga or any of that stuff. But he still gets along with her very well. And he's very respectful. So she starts liking that about him. He's like, he's not into some of the stuff I'm into. But he's a nice guy. He's likable. So we'll see what happens in the next volume. It was kind of like I'm rooting for them to get together in this one as well, because you know, some stories you're not really rooting for them. You feel they don't make a good couple. I feel like they have some type of chemistry developing, which is the signs of a good writer, right? So yeah, if you want to check that one out, I got the full review already out. This next one, this is the last one I've actually read this month from the stuff I picked up. The rest of these books, like I said, most of them are Right Stuff order that just came in, so I haven't read any of these. And some of them are volumes that are further along, so again, I haven't read them. This one's called Ladies on Top. This got a lot of hype on Instagram. Or what would you call the manga version of Instagram? Is it Mangastagram? Or let me know in the comment section. That's actually kind of important, so I can know what I have to hashtag when I post manga-related content, right? So this one, it has embossed letters, which I enjoyed. The cover's real steamy. Look, the girl's about to get on top of them and take control. And look at here. It says power play. So that's a kind of interesting way of describing this series, because it fits, right? Basically, this guy, he's dating this girl. They've been going out for a while, got to know each other, and they're hitting it off. So now it's time to take the next step in the relationship, which is they're gonna start hooking up, right? Spending staying over the night and so forth. And the first experience didn't go so well. This guy couldn't get it up. Overthinking things in his head. He gets all nervous. She tells him, calm down. She puts her hand on his chest, and he gets a little excited. She tells him, lay down. Bam! He gets it up, right? He's like, holy shit. Turns out he likes the girls to take control and take the lead, right? That way he doesn't have to overthink things and get nervous. He just has to lay there and let things happen, right? So as he's doing this, when he's done, he starts thinking, oh my God, I'm the girl in the relationship, so I'm too submissive, right? He's watching this porn. In this porn, the girl's the one that takes control and so forth. And then it gets to a scene where she puts on a strap on. And he gets all paranoid, turns the porn off. He's like, oh no, she's eventually going to want to start putting things up my butt. So he gets all scared about this. And he shows her the video. He goes, I know you're a freak and you like to do all this stuff. And he shows her the video. He goes, I don't know if I could keep up with you. I don't know if I'm into that. And she's like, get your mind out of the gutter. Oh my God. Like, I'm not going to do that to you. He's like, but you like to take control and I have to go with what you decide to do. She's like, no, you don't. So yeah, so they start talking and getting to talk about sex and so forth. Like, what are you into? What are you comfortable with? So that way they, the point is to have fun. This type of thing is you're both supposed to enjoy each other, right? And you're not going to be enjoying the experience if you're overthinking things and you're thinking, oh my God, am I doing things correct? Or does she like this? And vice versa, right? So, they got to figure this shit out. They got to figure it out and make it happen. So, yeah, the story was interesting enough. It wasn't too bad. It was a bit slow, like not a lot happened. It was more about just conversations and whatnot and how to deal with this situation, right? The thing is, these books are $15 a volume. It's one volume. It's not an omnibus or anything or a 2-in-1. It's from Steamship, so most of the Steamship stuff is $15 because it got that nudity and so forth. So bam, gotta jack up the price because we know what you all girls want, some nudity. So anyways, I'm thinking maybe just wait for some type of 7 Seas sales and only pick them up during the sales. That way, they'll be a little cheaper, like $9 or something, and that's more of a price I could work with because it's closer to the price of all the other manga and so forth, right? As a non-right stuff order was this one, Black Lagoon, volume 12. Came wrapped and so forth because this comes from In Stock Trades. I ordered this along with some other books and so forth. So this is volume 12. I now have volume 4, 5, 10, 11, and 12. So I need those few gaps in between, right, that are out of stock right now and so forth. If you're familiar with Black Lagoon, it's about a bunch of bad dudes and a bunch of bad dudettes as well that are former military and got together to become mercenaries, right? So basically, they're guns for hire. They do work for money and so forth. This is written, and the way it's written, it's very much like a Western comic book. This feels like comic books. It doesn't feel like manga the way it's written. If you read comic books and you read manga, you'll know what I'm talking about. They have like a different technique or formula, if you will. And this didn't feel like a manga to me, except for that it's black and white. So yeah, now let's get to the right stuff. Right stuff, I just looked through it. These 3 were out of stock, so they just shipped them right now because I guess they just got them back in stock. It's Darling in the Franxx, volume 1. It's a 2-in-1. Now this stuff is ecchi. This is some ecchi shit here. What I mean by that is there's gonna be a lot of butt shots, a lot of looking up skirts, that type of thing, right? So if you're used to like American comics and so forth, you might be offended by this. It might be too much, right? But if you've been reading manga a while and so forth, you know what to expect. You know how manga works. They have that humor that that might not be for everybody, right? So that's volume 1. This is volume 2. This is volume 2. Covers volumes 3 and 4. And this is volume 3 that covers volumes 5 and 6. Now, just right now, as I'm lifting them, I was noticing something. I go, these 2 are a lot thinner and they feel a lot heavier. Volume 1 and 2. And then volume 3 is a lot bigger, but it feels a lot lighter. I don't know if it shows up on the camera there. Can you see the size difference? Just look at the logos here. Look at how... Now, I looked at it and check out the bottom. You see this one? The paper's a different color. This is your traditional manga paper, so the volumes will be thicker and lighter because this is that light. Who is it? Anime Collective, I believe she calls it. She describes it as eggshell paper or something like that. It's a good way to describe it. It's a traditional manga paper, and these 2, you see, it's whiter. They're whiter. This whiter paper, it's heavier, but it's thinner. So these 2 might be the same page count. I haven't checked. But I wouldn't doubt they're the same page count. But since this paper's thinner, it looks like it's a smaller volume than this one, right? So the thing I like about this paper, it's thinner, so more books fit on the shelf, but it's a lot heavier. So it's a double-edged sword. So yeah, I got the 3 volumes here. Can't wait to check them out. I think there's one more volume coming out for the whole collection. Next book is this bad boy, Call of the Night. Now she a bad dude right there. She's badass. She's a vampire. Look at the art right there. It looks clean. That's volume 2 and this volume 3. There she is again. And this guy here, he's a normie. He's not a vampire or anything. Look at her sharpening her teeth to give him a bite. Ruthless. She's not really that ruthless. This story starts off where she bit him because she needs to feed, right, on blood. And he thinks he's going to be a vampire. So that's basically the beginning of the story. I have not read the manga yet, but I saw the first episode of the anime. And he thinks he's going to be a vampire. And she's like, doesn't work that way. It's not the movies, bro. Come on. So she tells him, it's a different type of bite I would have to do for you to become a vampire. And he's taking a liking to her. He finds her interesting because she's a vampire. So he starts following her around and whatnot, right? And he starts liking her and he starts saying, hey, turn me into a vampire too. It's like, you're gonna live eternity forever if you turn into a vampire. And he's like, oh, imagine I was a vampire, we'll live together for eternity. How romantic, right? So in theory, sounds good, you know. I ain't mad at him. That's a really good idea, right? Spend eternity with someone you like. So she's telling him, nah, it's a curse. You don't want that. So that's what we're at in the, at least in the first episode of the manga. That was the basics of it. And in the manga, I mean, that was where we're at in the anime. So in the manga, I have not read it, so I'm assuming it's gonna be very similar, right? So it's kind of think of Twilight, but where the roles are reversed, where she's the vampire and he's the regular person that wants to turn into a vampire and live forever, right? So sounds pretty good. It's kind of like I want to say rom-com maybe, because at least in the anime it came off a little bit that way. Now the paper in these is really good. It's like a bright white paper, but it's not a white glossy paper or that other heavy white paper like that in the Darling in the Franxx. This paper's light. It's kind of like the Livius EST mangas where it's white but it's light paper. It's probably my favorite paper as far as for manga. Look at this. This is a page with a lot of gray in it. And look at how the art still really pops. It really pops. The pencils are sharp. If you use the yellow paper, it won't pop as much, right? It'll look more muddled and stuff when you get a lot of gray going. And in this paper, it looks a lot better. The scans look more refined and so forth, if you will. Now, I was looking back here. I look for the printer company or whatever. And it just says printed in the USA. Look, another page there. Ooh, looking real steamy when she's laying down right there. That's the art to expect. I'm really digging the art on this as well when I flip through the pages. It's a lot different than any art I've seen in other manga, right? It's different and it's unique, so I kind of like that it stands out. The next series I picked up was Monster Wrestling Interspecies Combat Series, Volumes 3. Look at those huge jugs. Huge! And Volume 4. Again, huge jugs. Every girl in this series, at least judging by the covers, is like a double D in size, right? So we know what kind of art we're gonna get here. Very like smutty and so forth. I don't even know why I ordered Volume 3 and 4, because I still have Volume 1 and 2. I haven't read them yet. And these are wrapped up. I haven't even unwrapped the other volumes. I haven't read them, so I probably shouldn't buy any more till I read this and see if I even like the series or not, right? So yeah, I picked these up. What I picked up was this one, Prince Freya. Bam, that's Volume 1. And that's Volume 2. So that's two of our main characters. The covers, and look at the back. It's looked interesting enough to me. So basically it's about this girl that there's this prince in this city or town called Freya. It's a nice town and whatnot. He got poisoned. So they need someone, a cover up so people don't know that he's dying or that he's poisoned, right? While they find a cure and whatnot. This girl looks a lot like him. So she's playing the role of the prince. But in having to play the role of the prince, he's not just one of these princes that lays around. He's one of the princes that goes to war. He's like a general and whatnot. So she has to go to war and lead these knights and these soldiers to protect the city, right? And so that's what this is about. That's all I really know about it. I have not read it. Picked up the first two volumes. It's a shoujo beat. It says back here. So it's about basically, you know, knights and whatnot in the olden days. I don't know if you call those historical pieces or not. Not sure if it's actually fantasy where there'll be dragons and whatnot. But usually in these stories with knights, there's usually always wizards. Dragons, goblins, and all that are not always there because sometimes they leave that fantasy element out. But even when they're going for a realistic take, they still throw sorceresses in there, right? So this seems like up my alley, something I would like. I like a lot of that knights and stuff like that. So hopefully it's good. I've seen a few anime that are considered shoujo beat where I'll watch an episode or two. And they have a lot of action in them too. Like I'm not really seeing the difference between shonen and shoujo when it comes to that, right? Like to me, the things that stand out, to me I don't really pay attention to genres much, but I know it's a thing, you know. I guess it helps people decide what they want to collect or read or whatever. But to me, I think the noticeable differences is that shoujo is like superhero stuff, right? One Punch Man, you know, stuff along those lines. My Hero Academia, those type of books. And shoujo beat doesn't have superhero stuff. But as far as everything else goes. They both, you know, knights and action. Shoujo beat has it just as much as a shonen, right? So yeah, I picked these two up. Can't wait to read them. Hopefully it's good. I think that's in volume 7 already. So if I like that enough, pick up the other 4 in the next order. The next book I got here, this was a total blind buy. Just got it based on the cover. I did not even read the synopsis. It's called The Executioner and Her Way of Life. Look at that. She looks badass right there. She's obviously an executioner. And I guess we're going to be following her life. I don't know much more about it. It's from Yen Press. So yeah, hopefully this one's good. And the next one is Fiancé Chosen by the Ring, Volume 2. I think this is going to be the first book I read. Because the Volume 1 ended. And an interesting note where I want to, see what happens next. So this is going to be my read probably after I do this video. Next book, I haven't seen much talk about it, but I've seen it on 1 or 2 videos. Vertical books in general, I don't see people picking up a lot on their hauls, right? So these are from Vertical. It's called Aposimz. It looked interesting enough to me. It looked like supernatural and sci-fi, like they're in space and some type of shit goes down, right? That's volume 2. Picked up the first 2 volumes. One thing I noticed about Vertical books, look at this. They're always like wider. See how the pages are wider? It's the same height, but they're always wider, so you get a little more art, right? Think like widescreen shots. So that's pretty cool. The art looks pretty cool right here. I was digging it, and it's they're in space, and I guess some type of crazy shit goes down, kind of like in maybe like a movie like Aliens, but instead of aliens, some other type of supernatural stuff. If I could think of something, would be The Thing, the movie The Thing. If you guys ever seen it, it seems like it's gonna have that type of tone, but not sure. Have not read it. This one also is pretty far along. I think it's like on volume 7, so we'll go with the first 2 volumes and see if I enjoy them enough, right? Alright, the next 3 books, they're the last ones in the haul. These are big boys. So all these are 2-in-1s. So there's 2-in-1s and there's 3-in-1s. As I read more, one thing I've noticed is I kind of enjoy the feel of the just one volume, not 2-in-1s or 3-in-1s, right? 1 volume, and 2-in-1s is still not too bad. 3-in-1s can get a little bit heavy and so forth, uncomfortable and clunky to read. So I like 2-in-1s and 1 volumes, 1-offs. I think I'm enjoying those more. But again, to me, I like the way the books look in the shelf. So the way the spine looks matters to me as well. Like, for example, I know Noragami recently came out with omnibuses that are 3-in-1s. I was like, oh, I'm going to pick up the omnibuses. I looked at the spines, and I kind of like the way the spines on the singles look, right? I just thought it looks more appealing to me. So if I do go ahead and collect it, I think I'm going to go with the singles because I wasn't the biggest fan of the way the omnis look and so forth. But these three are all 2-in-1s. At least the size is about a 2-in-1. And what I noticed too is that a lot of these volumes that are singles, the art is the same size, the books are the same height. So I'm like, sometimes it's better to go with those, even though they're a little bit more expensive. This book, for example, is not too heavy. It's kind of light. I've been eyeing this for a while. I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and order it, get volume 1 out of the way, and see how much I enjoy it. I really like the physical design on this book, the build and so forth. It looks real cool. It's called Carnival. There's the cover. Look at this guy. Now the art, it looks very cutesy, cute little guy right there. But then look at he's all bandaged up, and look at him, look like he got stabbed and shit. Like, so I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think he lives a soft life, right? I think it's gonna be a lot of action in this. Now this is, I think this is called I think it was A Boy's Love, a BL it's called, right? So I guess he's the main character. I'm not sure. We have another guy back here. I don't know if that's the villain or that's gonna be his boyfriend or what, right? So I guess it's a BL. I've never read one of these before, so I can't wait to dig into it. Also, look at the spine. This thing looks real nice. I really like the spines. They all have different colors and so forth. That's part of the reason why I wanted to pick it up. It was just aesthetically pleasing to me, and I can't wait to read it again. It's another one that's I wouldn't say it's completely a blind buy, but I don't know much about it either. So hopefully it's good. It's a 2-in-1, so it's gonna be the first 2 volumes up in here. And I think I saw on Twitter that volume 14 is about to come out this month. And volume 14 is the last volume for the collection. So if you're interested in this one, you know what to expect. It goes 14 volumes. Again, another total blind buy. They had this one on sale. I saw it for like $12 and it's normally 20. So is it normally 20? Let me see. It's normally 24 and they had it for $12, so 50% off. I was like, it's a pretty good deal. Let's go ahead and buy it. If I don't like it, I can always sell it back for that same price, right? Because that's a really good deal. So this one's called The Rascal Does Not Dream of Petite Little Devils. Look at that. She has wings and everything. Skinny little girl right there. Looking pretty cute, but hey, hold on. She's wearing a school uniform. Wait a minute. She's 18 at least. Okay, so yeah, she has this cell phone there. I don't know much about it. Don't know much about her. But she seems to be a devil. I mean, look, she has a tail and wings. So yeah, there's that going on. There's the spine. It says a 2 here, so that threw me off. I was like, what the hell is this, volume 2? But nah, I think it's a complete series. I don't think there's a volume 1 or anything like that. It's just one book. The last book on the haul is I have the first 5 volumes, have not got around to reading it, and now we got volume 6. Bam! It's Plunderer. Love the covers on this. It's real ecchi stuff, man. Real ecchi. I just watched the first 3 episodes of the cartoon recently, and I was like, damn, I didn't know this was this pervy, right? But again, it's all in good fun. These are it has a lot of action in it and stuff too. It's like a shonen, but it is ecchi. Again, if you don't like that kind of stuff, this book might not be for you. I'm gonna give you an example. The main character, she has a tattoo on her inner thigh that says a number, and everybody has a power system. The higher your number, the more powers you have. So I'm having it on the shoulder, their back, or wherever, different areas. She has it on her inner thigh. So every time somebody's like, oh, look at my power level, or look at my power level on my neck, they have the writing, right? And on her, they're always like grabbing her legs and opening them like, oh, let me see your power level. So the way they do those scenes, it comes off very like pervy, but again, comedic at the same time. So yeah, you got that's type of stuff to expect on this book, right? Other than that, the book is pretty badass. Like, there's this guy that has 2 power levels, so it's kind of crazy because he has, at least in the anime shows, on his sword he has his power level. He's very powerful. He has like 6,000 points, and on his wrist he has another power level, and that power level is like minus 300. And they're like, oh, this guy's real weak. Look, he's minus 300. This fool sucks at fighting or at stuff, right? And it turns out he's actually a badass. He has like a super high power level. But his power level, the one he has on his wrist, is that he sucks at talking to girls. They go, oh, that minus power level, that's not a power level. That's his like charisma, his ability to talk to girls. That's how good he is at it. He's terrible at it. They always slap him. They always turn him away. They never want to talk to him. So yeah, it's very humorous. I really like the anime. So hopefully the book is just as good. So there's, I think, 9 for the whole collection. I'm on volume 6 now. Just 3 more to go. That's all I picked up for this month. This was actually last month's haul. Last month's right stuff order. So hopefully, let me know if you guys picked up any of this stuff. First of all, have you picked any of this, or are you driving with any of this? What are you collecting? Because I feel I got a lot of stuff that not a lot of people are collecting outside of Call of the Night. Everybody's buying that piece, right? So besides that, I think everything else was kind of stuff that's lesser known. If you read any of it, let me know in the comment section down below. If you like the video, hopefully you hit that like button. You know, always helps out the channel. And other than that, just check you guys out next time.